How is it going, everyone? We are coming up on Black Friday season and the holidays, so you know that means we're going to be having a lot of deals, a lot of PlayStation games going cheap, big PlayStation store sales, etc, etc. But in this video, I want to highlight some of the tips that I have for you guys to just stay a little bit financially responsible, and a lot of this video is going to be what not to do, rather than what to do, as far as, just things that I think you should avoid and just using common sense. A lot of this stuff is gonna be common sense, but I feel like when we're chasing the dopamine rush of getting a good deal, sometimes common sense goes out the window. So I thought this would be a good video to do to reiterate some points that I think are important to remember. I've got 5 things to go over, so let's just get right into it. Number 1. Don't buy any expensive games that you don't plan to play in the very near future. Now, expensive games can be defined in a different way depending on who you talk to. I would say anything north of $20 or so. If you're not going to plan on playing it anytime in the near future, and near future I would say within the next 3 months or so, I would just say don't buy it, because guess what? Chances are it's gonna hit that price point again within the next 3 months. Like, for example, a big game I think a lot of people are gonna be eyeing during Black Friday is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Recent release. I know a lot of people were a little bit hesitant on dropping $70 on that game because it is a little bit of a shorter game. Awesome game, but let's say it goes down to $45 and you're just like, oh my god, it's $45. It just came out. Let me go buy it. Well, if you're not gonna play it anytime in the near future, chances are it's gonna go cheaper. Like, let's say that game just sits on your shelf, you get a physical copy for $45 and it sits on your shelf until June of next year. Well, by June of next year, it could hit 40, it could hit 35, it could go cheaper and cheaper, whereas, if you buy a physical game for 15 to 20 bucks, chances are that's kind of the floor it's gonna get to. I think it's different when you talk about digital gaming, but as far as physical games go, if you have the desire to play Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater by, let's say, the end of the year, absolutely spend $45 on it. If you have the desire to play a Borderlands 4 by the end of the year, by all means pay that premium, because while it is discounted, that's still a premium to me if you're spending $45 on the game. Borderlands 4 is a really interesting one because the longer you wait on that, the real element of that is it's going to pay dividends with the Super Deluxe Edition getting discounted and the Ultimate Edition getting discounted and so on and so forth. So just because a game is discounted and it's a recent release, just bear in mind, have that idea. Is this a game you really want to play, or is it a game you have some interest in, but ultimately, even if you buy it now, you're going to wait a lot longer? Like, I've seen so many people in our comment section being like, for example, when Lies of P got added to PlayStation Plus Essential, this comment is like embedded into my memory. Somebody commented saying like they bought that game a year and a half ago on discount and it's still sealed for them and now it's on Plus. Like, people do that more often than you think, and I just think be a little bit more cognizant of that on whether or not you are gonna play a game. And sometimes things happen, you don't get around to a game around the time that you want it, but just have an idea. If you're gonna buy a Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater, just play it, have a plan to play it in the relative near future. Otherwise, it's not like that game is gonna go anywhere. It's not like that game is gonna go out of print or anything like that. It'll be available in 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and so on and so forth. But number 2 brings me to my next point. Look, a lot of the times, especially this goes on the digital side of things, when we see something super cheap, 85% off, we buy it. Don't buy a game just because it's super cheap. Assess to yourself whether or not that's a game you actually ultimately have a plan to play. And yes, when you're talking about buying games from the PlayStation Store, a lot of that is, oh my god, it's $4.99, it's $9.99. You could just hoard a lot of games for fairly cheap. Well, there's 2 aspects to that. First of all, those games very much have the possibility of getting added to PlayStation Plus. Second of all, those are games that you could just add into the library, and it could literally be years, or maybe you won't even get to those games ever. Like, that is a reality. Look, we all have a finite amount of time, and just because games are down to $4.99, $9.99, I think, yes, there's that element of you are exchanging money to acquire these games, but when it comes to cheaper games, the commodity you are really trading for those games for a lot of people is time. there are only so many $5 games we can go through, and time is the biggest exchange I feel that we have when you're talking about picking up I don't know, a Sleeping Dogs. I highly recommend that game. Awesome game, but do you have the time you're willing to sacrifice right now to play a game like that? If that's not the case, you know, that game's gonna go on sale a million more times, and maybe it's a better idea to just have the idea of, okay, I'm gonna play the billions of cheap games I already have, all of these PlayStation Plus Essential games I already have in my library, and then, you know, maybe down the line I'll get to some of these other cheap game offerings, because those go on sale all the time. It's not like, you know, Sleeping Dogs at $4.49 is gonna be this new thing, or this game or Just Cause 3 at $2.99 is gonna, oh my god, dude, that deal's available readily. Yes, the 90% off looks spicy. Yes, we are in the season of just buying random stuff, but just be cognizant about that, because it does you no favors on amassing a digital library of a lot of games, and we can get onto this topic about digital libraries being worthless. Like, no, the idea of video games is for you to have enjoyment out of those games, but more than the money exchange for the cheaper games, it's really the time exchange, and I just want to reiterate that over and over again, because I think more and more people, as these games are getting so cheap, and a lot of my audience is building this vast library of games, that's what we've come to the realization of. There's only so much time that we have, and we can't be spending or buying so many games that we can play all of them. It's just not humanly possible, so be mindful of that as well. Buying 10, you know, $3 to $5 games on the surface, that might look good, but you might already have 20 games in your backlog. Those 10 games are literally gonna exist in your backlog for years and years, and you might not ever get to them. So, not saying anything wrong with buying cheap games. Just because they're cheap, don't hoard them. And again, this is more applicable to the digital side of things, because physically, you know, you're really not gonna get a lot of options for $5 games or even $10 games. Really, the basement for a lot of physical games is like that $15 to $20 range. But digitally, you're talking about, you know, the $3.99, $2.99, $4.99 games being available all the time. Like, we do all these videos covering them, and it's so easy to just amass a cart of 10, 15, 20 games, and you're buying it for, you know, 50, 60, 70 bucks, the cost of one new release, and that looks very enticing, but ultimately, it's valueless if you never end up playing those games. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, keep expectations in check for digital deals. This is coming off the heels of the second one, but digital game deals are always the best when you're talking about the really cheap stuff. The $2.99, $3.99, $4.99 deals, that's the kind of stuff you're not gonna find physically. However, when it comes to bigger deals, as far as deals on newer release games, and we see this every year on Black Friday, the new release stuff, like a Delta Snake Eater, like a Borderlands 4, Borderlands 4 might see a 20-25% off discount max on the PlayStation Store, while in stores at a Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, whatever the case may be, it might be down to $39.99, $49.99, around that range. Generally speaking, you are going to get the better deals when you talk about buying the physical deals of the more expensive stuff, the newer stuff. I always go back to the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 example, where that game, like, off the rip was going down to $19.99 or $29.99 right after release physically, but then digitally it was holding up at like $48, $42 for a while. It was just insane, the disparity between the physical and digital price points of that game, and you know, that stuff to be mindful of, that stuff to be cognizant of. You're not gonna get these amazing deals on Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and that's just an easy example to bring up over and over again, but take any newly released game, Borderlands, Digimon, so on and so forth. Digitally, you might get a 20-25% off discount, but in stores and physically, you might see a deeper 30, 35, 40% off discount even. You know, there are some games like Digimon I expect to hold up. A Ghost of Yote I don't think is gonna get discounted. Those games generally hold up in price. Nintendo titles, so on and so forth, but just keep your expectations in check digitally, because I guarantee you, the second I upload that PlayStation Store Black Friday sale live video, or the holiday sale when that comes around, there's gonna be so many comments of disappointment, game deals being cheaper physically, when that's always the case, especially in the top level games. The cheaper stuff, again, the south of $10 games, yeah, your best bet is to buy those games digitally if all you care about is money spent and you don't care about having a hard copy. But when it comes to the physical stuff, yeah, generally speaking, you're gonna get the better deals physically But when it comes to the newer stuff, yeah, generally you're gonna get the better deals physically, and the digital deals are usually pretty weak. Like, you're probably gonna see Metal Gear 20% off, or a lot of times, you know what they do? They'll be like, we'll put the Ultimate Edition on sale. Yeah, you gotta get the nonsense cosmetics. We gotta upcharge you a little bit, and the Standard Edition won't be on sale. I remember last year it happened a lot with like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload, where those games were going down fairly cheap physically, but then digitally the deals were, you know, $10, $15 more for the digital counterparts. And you're talking about digitally, they're making more money off those sales. Just how these things work. Number 4, and I know this is gonna be a deal so many people are gonna pine after. I'm just gonna keep expectations in check on this. Don't expect blow-away PS Plus deals. Guys, especially from PlayStation directly on the PlayStation Store, Sony has gotten very, very selective on what kind of PlayStation Plus deals they offer, because now is the time. They've offered you Plus deals for years and years. The reality is there comes a point where it's not about offering you deals on Plus anymore. It's about making the money on the subscription service. We see it with Game Pass. We see it with all the subscription services. For a while, they'll be very aggressive with the deals offerings, and I think a lot of people got accustomed to, oh, I get to sub every year 30% off or whatever, 33% off. Guys, that's a pipe dream at this point. That's a pipe dream, and a lot of the times if you follow the Plus deals, a lot of it is, oh, new subscribers get this discount, or lapsed subscribers for X amount of months get this discount. Re-upping your subscription, that's not really much of a deal anymore. Or the idea is, we'll offer you a deal if you go from Plus Essential to Plus Premium, so they can try to lock you in to the higher tier subscription service. Those are the deals that they're gonna be offering on Plus. Just keep that in mind. Like, I would not expect a lot of blow-away deals on PS Plus anymore. Yes, that is a bitter pill to swallow, but that is the reality of the situation now. That they are now coming after the dollars when it comes to subscription services, and I expect the offers on PS Plus, the deals on that, to get worse and worse. So, you know, I see a lot of comments on people getting excited for the Plus deals, and it's just like, dude, if last year was anything to go by, and I saw a lot of disappointment last year, I don't foresee it getting better. In fact, I see it getting worse, and the deals offerings on Plus getting worse and worse, because there comes a point where they're not here to offer you deals on the subscription services anymore. They know you need it, and it's time that they're gonna try to make their money on it, and that's just the reality of the situation, and I get it. It's gonna be a bitter pill to swallow, but it is what it is. And number 5, quite possibly the most important tip. Have a good hard look at your backlog right now. Have a good hard understanding of what your time commitment to video games are. It is okay not to buy anything, and I bring up the element of time over and over again because there are so many games coming out that are asking for your time, and I think this is a quantity and a part of life that has just been such a point of thought for me recently, in terms of, you know, we amass all of these games, and I'm in a very luxurious position where I can invest more time than the average person on video games, but I understand most of you guys have families. You have, whether you go to school, you have a 9 to 5, you only have X amount of hours that you can invest into video games, and just because you see a good deal, just because it's a new game discounted, it doesn't mean you have to pick it up. Look, how many of you, and I know it's a good amount of people, and I'm sorry to bring this game up again, have not beaten games like Red Dead Redemption 2, have not beaten some of the best games of the last few years. Work on those games. Work on the games that are in your library. It's not like you picking up a Delta Snake Eater or a Persona 3 Reload, even if that game is super cheap. It's suddenly going to, you know, that dopamine rush is going to hit nice for a little bit, but ultimately things settle down, and it's a video game. None of the new video games that come out are much better than a lot of the other great video games come out and they exist all the time. They probably exist in your backlog as well, and it's not like any of these games, or at least for the most part, are gonna go out of print. They are going to be here, especially digitally. Like, they'll always be here. Like, it's okay to skip out on buying anything, and yeah, a lot of people are gonna be buying stuff. Maybe you'll see my thumbnails and, oh my god, crazy Black Friday sale live on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, yo, I gotta get my views. Relax there, buddy. But the reality is, I'm telling you that assess how many hours do you have to spend on video games, and do you need to buy anything right now? It's okay to focus on the 800 games you already have in your backlog, because I know for some of you guys, you know, 800's a little bit of a stretch, but it's north of 20 games,
30 games, 40 games, 50 games? Like, if you've been a perennial PlayStation Plus subscriber, how many games do you have that are just Plus redeemed titles that you've never played? Probably a lot, and some of those games are really damn good. How many of you have played through Alan Wake 2? That was just a Plus game in October. Some of you guys probably haven't. How many of you guys have played through Lies of P? That was a Plus game that's just chilling in your library, and it's been chilling there for years. Guess what? A lot of the games that you might end up picking up for Black Friday, they're gonna be in that same category. They're gonna be in that Lies of P category. They're gonna be in that Alan Wake 2 category that you haven't played. They're just gonna be chilling in your library for years and years, so there's no point in buying games like that. And honestly, I think amassing a large library of games, digital games, physical games, whatever the case may be, it just creates this unfortunate problem of also just having so many games that picking one is kind of difficult. I get it, total first world problems here, but sometimes it's just better to have a smaller selection of games you want to play and focus on those. Yes, the 75% offs, the 80% offs, all of that looks enticing, but it's all fleeting. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day unless you play the games. It's all meaningless if you just buy games to not play them, and I think a lot of people are in that category, and I don't think we talk about that enough, but there are a lot of people that just amass these insane libraries of games, and then they get caught up with life. Like, life happens. We have a finite amount of time, and you're not gonna get to these games, so just assess your current situation, assess your backlog, and realize it's okay to skip out on buying anything. It's okay to skip out on buying any games for 6 months, a year, 2 years, however long it takes for you to play the games that you have and, you know, buy a game every now and again when you really want to play it and it's something that you absolutely are dying to play. But realize that a lot of the games are great and great games exist all the time. Great games exist in your backlog. Great games are going to exist in stores. Great games are going to go on sale month after month, year after year. It's not like this is that special in the grand scheme of things. It's fun getting good deals, but beyond that, it's meaningless, it's fleeting, it doesn't matter if you don't play the games. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I feel like I was able to you know, let you guys know if my point's pretty good. With that being said, I'm still excited as somebody that's trying to build up more of a physical game collection these days. I'm really on that train now. I'm excited to buy some games. You know, I might be doing some double dipping on games that I have digitally, but I want a physical copy of if they are at the right price point. But that's for me now, kind of getting back into, you know, owning my games, having physical copies, so on and so forth, because that's become a bigger deal to me. But everybody's different, and assess your circumstances. But again, that'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.